All right, we'll get ready for this adventure. Next up, William Buhlman. We're going to talk about out-of-the-body experiences. He's next on Coast to Coast AM. William Buhlman is an expert in numerous OBE and past life regression techniques from the shamanistic to the very modern. His teaching skills and remarkable insights empower individuals to go to the other side fully conscious. William is conducting the world's largest survey on the out-of-body experience and has some 16,000 plus responses, yielding amazing conclusions. Approximately 50 million people have had an out-of-body experience, and these experiences have many similarities. Perhaps you have these: buzzing sounds, vibrations, sometimes sleep paralysis. They're just a few. He's convinced from this data that the majority of ET abduction scenarios are actually misinterpreted OBE experiences as well. William Buhlman back on Coast to Coast. Hello, William. How are you?
Hello, George. How are you?
Always a pleasure to have you back, my friend. This time by popular demand, as a matter of fact. Still conducting the study, or has that completed?
No, it's ongoing. I have it posted on my website, the responses, and it's all the listeners can feel free to go and participate. It only takes a couple minutes.
Well, and tell me some of the methodology that you're using there.
Well, my main focus was on what I call the vibrational state, which was the precursor to an OBE, because I wanted people to understand that, well, first I wanted to track the commonalities of what people were experiencing. For instance, like some of the things that you mentioned, the vibrations, sounds, voices, sensations. And because I knew I was having these things since the 70s, and I was personally curious whether everyone else was that was having OBEs or pre-OBEs. And, of course, that's exactly what I found out. There was thousands and thousands of people participated. And about 80% of the people that have OBEs have vibrational state phenomena associated with it at the beginning.
Why do you believe that in our lives, the fact that so many people, 50 million at least, have had OBEs, what do you think the significance of this is, William?
Well, I think it's a natural event. That's one thing. It's, too often we classify things as paranormal that I don't feel they should be. This is very much a normal event. We are not physical beings. We are not humans even. We are consciousness, conscious beings. And one of the things I quickly found from my own OBEs is that when I have an out-of-body experience and I prolong my experience, I lose my humanoid form. In other words, we begin to revert back to what we truly are, which is not a human. Human's just a temporary state we're using. So we begin to obtain a lot of knowledge about what we truly are. In other words, OBEs give us an opportunity to really obtain answers about ourselves, what we are, where we come from, where we're going, the really important questions.
When we dream, are we perhaps having an OBE experience, but we think it's a dream?
Absolutely. That's very common. In fact, in my books and workshops, I actually have techniques where people can take a dream and upgrade it. For instance, as you know, there's dreams, and then there's lucid dreams where you become more conscious.
Right.
But there's techniques where you can take a lucid dream and actually begin to upgrade that experience and become fully conscious and move beyond the body. Now, what I've found, based on not only my own experiences but research, is that everyone moves out of sync with their physical body when they're asleep. And I don't mean to say they're flying around, but they just move out of phase. They may be 2 inches out of phase with their body. Mm-hmm. All of us, during that 8 hours of sleep, we're technically out of body. And that's a major find. You can actually, people that go out of body actually can witness this for themselves. And that's when we're dreaming. And, of course, that's why you hear these reports of falling and falling back into your body, slamming back into your body. All this is just a return, our mind's interpretation of the return.
The fact that the body and the astral body separate during sleep, is that a form of energizing the physical body, or maybe it's a form of energizing the astral body, that it needs that separation during the sleep state?
Absolutely. We already know that you absolutely need to dream or we become psychotic in a matter of 48 hours or 72 hours, depending on the individual. Sleep is absolutely essential for the brain. Now, no one knows exactly the inner workings of it, but I feel strongly that what is happening during what we call sleep, which, by the way, sleep is an altered state of consciousness. We take it for granted, but it's very much an unexplored altered state of consciousness. And that is a recharging mechanism for both, definitely for the physical body and for our brain, but also possibly for the astral body.
Many people who do not believe in life after death may not be aware, may not understand, may not believe in the existence of OBEs. What do you say to these people, William? Do you even deal with them?
Oh, I absolutely do all the time. And I have a very, very simple response to anyone who doesn't believe in it. I'd say that's great, because this is the whole purpose of pursuing self-initiated OBEs is to obtain personal verification. That's what this is about. I didn't believe this back in 1970. I would have never. I was a total agnostic. Unless I had the experience, I would have never believed this was possible. And it blew open a whole new door, a whole new life. That's the power of out-of-body experiences. It's not a belief system. It's not a speculation. People that have these experiences know that it's a reality. There's no guesswork. There's no belief system attached to it. There's no faith. This is a knowledge, and it opens up the door to discovering knowledge about yourself and the nature of reality.
In theory, is it also a science? I mean,
it's a science and an art form, really. That's why as you know, I've written extensively on this subject, because different techniques, for instance, for initiating the experience will work for different people, and it takes trial and error. It takes some education too, and it takes some determination for people to self-initiate an OBE, and it takes some training. Now, some people they take to it very quickly. For me, it took me 30 days of daily practice for me to have my first experience. So it takes some motivation on the part of the individual, but for me it is a science and an art. It's a combination, because there's certain parameters of this which are universal, but yet there's an art form that every person has to learn by trial and error from actual experience.
Is there any doubt in your mind that the OBE will verify the existence of the other side?
It already has, for me and for anyone who's had the experience. I know for a fact. It's not a question. There's no ifs. I know for a fact that we live in a multidimensional universe. And all the biblical texts that talk about heaven and hell and whatever, purgatory, and they're referring to this multidimensional universe. That's 4 dimensions right there. Every religion talks about a multidimensional universe, except they cloak it in their own language, often 2,000-year-old language. So that you have to look at it through the eyes of that culture. That's what I find so interesting. Every religion talks about multidimensional nature of reality.
You write in your books, and you've got The Adventures Beyond the Body, and then The Secret of the Soul. Can we assume, William, that the soul that people of religious faith have talked about since the beginning of time, that the soul and the astral body are one and the same?
No, we can't. That's one thing I have found. That's an assumption that I feel is false. The astral body is one of many energy bodies. We're much more complex than body, mind, spirit. That's one of the things I'm still investigating today after 35 years of having experiences. But you quickly learn that the astral body is just another dense, form-based energy body that's very close in vibration to the physical. And the soul